Hello and welcome back to another recap with Justin Low Stocks. Today we'll be going over last night's trades, which is Friday. So the first stock I traded was TYHT. This one was a basic gap and go strategy. I was looking for a breakout over the pre-market highs, which was around this 229, 230 level, which we got. So it started spiking up at about 923 pre-market. It spiked up, it broke the level, and I bought in at the breakout of the high of pre-market, which is here, 233. I bought in there. It was just before market open, like I said. It dropped down a little bit. As soon as the market opened, it dropped down to this point here at 221. But then it only bounced off there for a second, and then it just spiked up within like 20 seconds. It went from 221 up to 247. But I set a hard profit taker here, so as soon as it crossed that price point, I took my profits. And yeah, it was lucky I did that, because often with these stocks, sometimes they just show strength out of the first minute, breaking pre-market highs, and then they immediately turn back around, which this one did. The second candle from market open was a big red one, which took back all the gains that the stock made in its first green candle. So I was lucky I set the hard profit taker there. I'll show you the daily candles. So this is the point there that I was talking to you about, the pre-market high level. As you can see, it was a significant line of support and resistance. You know, support here, resistance here, and I was expecting it to be resistance here, but once it broke out, I was then expecting a breakout of at least 10-20 cents. So the next stock I traded was QTNT. One of these, I did two trades in this stock. The first one was a losing trade, the second one was a winning trade. So first off, it was gapping up again. It was on my big gapper scanner. So 9:30, it was around here where it opened. Sort of sat around there, and then a few minutes in, it just popped up with this big green candle. I was expecting to go short here at around the 540 level, but when it came up here and then dipped back down, I missed out on the short. But then the next 3 minutes, it was putting in these solid green candles, and the volume was starting to increase, as you can see. I was like, oh, maybe this has got a chance if it breaks that point where I was going to short it, because it's a good resistance point, similar to the last stock. If it broke out of that, you could see it run a little bit. So I was bought into the breakout of the high on this second minute candle. So I bought in the breakout. You know, it was a few cents slippage, which just means you got filled a little bit higher than you wanted to. Bought in there, 547, went up to 555, but then it had a big red candle, and I was green up. I've been green on the day and on the week. I just didn't want to lose, you know, turn into a red day, because the last few Fridays haven't been the best for me. So I set a pretty tight stop, which was there at 537, got stopped out. So yeah, that was a losing trade. But then I got back in with my initial idea, which was to short it. So I shorted it here at this next arrow. So this one, because it had the big red and it was coming down, and then it had a bit of consolidation here. So it came down big, and then it had a little bounce, just these two candles, that one and this one. I was like, okay, it's had its little bounce after a big fall. If it breaks under the lows just before it bounced, if it broke under there, I'd go short. So I went short once it cracked those levels at 526, and I covered only at 520. I only took it was about a 1%, 1.5% return. Just taking quick profits. So that was that trade. And then I'll show you the daily on this first of all. So the 540 line I was planning on shorting off, that was this line here. It was proved to be a big resistance level in the past. You know, resistance here, resistance here, resistance here before it broke out, and then after it broke back down this line, it acted as resistance again here. So I was expecting it to be a strong level of resistance, but as you can see, the volume just pushed through that resistance line as it was the biggest volume day it's had in about a year. So that was that one. And then my biggest win for the day was on LIVX. So this one was spiking up. I'll show you in the daily in a minute, but spiked up pre-market, and then it was downtrending pretty sharply pre-market, and then just before market open it started rallying, and then market opened and it just exploded. There was no real entry to get in here because there was no sort of pullback or a good opportunity to buy in, so I didn't buy in. I was just watching it, and then I watched it have these two massive red candles which basically took away half or a little bit over half of the profits it made since the market opened. And then just like the last stock, QTNT, it had a little bounce up after a big fall. It had the little bounce, and I was thinking, oh, again, if it goes under those sort of consolidation points after the bounce, then I'll take it short, which I did. I took it short here, 841. Here's the two other candles, two other arrows. So short it here at 841. I was bouncing around a little bit, and then it cracked down here. I took a partial, which is covered half my shares at 814, which was a nice profit, and then I let the other half of my position, run its course, and it went down to 777, where I covered the other half of my position, and that was a nice big win, with about 8% return. So that was a good return, that one. Yeah, you had to wait and see, and there was a significant resistance there from pre-market. As you can see, it had bounced up, hit this line, and then fell. So that was a point to look off at. You could have played that. Yeah, you had to wait for it to show weakness, but because if you didn't, I'll go to the 1 year daily. It's got no overhead resistance in the last year, and I had a big problem with that a few weeks ago on HEAR. I shorted with no above resistance over the past year, and it didn't work out. This one did, however, because I waited for it to break down and show weakness, which worked out well for me, because that's what led to my profit, watching it break down first. So I hope you've learned something. Thanks very much for tuning in. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe the videos if you enjoy them, and have a good Saturday night, and I will catch up with you either tomorrow or Monday. Alright, see you later, guys.